Welcome to SVG Television News and Sports for Wednesday, March the 19th. I'm Jimmy Prince with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has confirmed speculations about the Trinidadian-based Caribbean Airlines' interest to fly to St. Vincent and the Grenadines commercially. Dr. Gonsalves says he has been advised that CAL has made a preliminary indication that it will like to make SVG one of its destinations, but the request is yet to be finalized. Dr. Gonsalves made it clear that he has absolutely no opposition to CAL coming to this country.
I have never had any problem with any airline coming in Liat space. You know, I fought CAL on the question of its subsidy, its unlawful subsidy, the fuel subsidy. They cut it out. They put in money in CAL, you know. They put in money in CAL as an investor, as a shareholder. They put in additional equity, additional capital. Some people say that there's another way they're doing the subsidy because they're just shuffling the books. I don't accept that because I don't have any evidence of that. I take the government of Trinidad and Tobago at its word as to what it is doing, and we haven't seen anything to the contrary. So you don't have any unfair competition, that's fine.
The Prime Minister says any movement by CAL to operate from this country does not mean it will be taking away customers from Liat.
They'll bring greater demand to the marketplace. They can create their own demand. So the hoteliers would be laughing the way to the bank. More workers will be hired. I get 10% VAT on the rooms and on the food and the drinks, so I could fix up the schools then better. I mean, what happened? People think I have my head somewhere else.
A portion of the approximately 700 farmers who have applied for loans under the Farmers Support Program will tomorrow receive funding to increase production and carry out enhancement work to their farms. Prime Minister Gonsalves today says, contrary to what has been stated by some, the $6 million is a grant from Petrocarib to be used as a revolving fund and loan to small farmers here at a 2% interest rate.
We have to pay back. It's grant money, really. We have to, when this money from Petrocarib there with the thing, we have it as a revolving fund, so that if you get money at 2%, you pay it back. Next year I could add to it again. It's a revolving fund. They told me this morning is about 700 applicants they have. Today they are making a decision on the first 100. I think they're approving 100 today. And they will bring in some people tomorrow. Saboto told me either tomorrow or Friday to give out symbolically some of that 100.
The Prime Minister used the opportunity to call on extension officers to increase the number of visits to the various farms to help speed up the process of selecting and disbursing funds to the small farmers.
I am appealing to the extension officers through this medium that the hard work that they're doing already, I want them, please, redouble, triple up their work for me, please, to have as many visits to farms as they possibly can, so that we can process the loans faster. I haven't transferred all $6 million yet to the account of the company. I transfer already $2.5 million. And anytime they want any more of the money, I will transfer more. But they wouldn't lend all $6 million one time. You see what I mean? Because people have to be, there's an application, they have to do the process. And there are some people who have applied for money from this fund. It wouldn't apply to them for the simple reason that their application is outside of the limits.
The Farmers Support Company, the FSC, and the St. Vincent Cocoa Company, the SVCC, will be receiving assistance from the Lind Cocoa Foundation. The Swiss-based foundation is dedicated to fostering all aspects of sustainability in the cultivation, production and processing of cocoa and other raw materials used in chocolate production. The foundation has agreed to pay for training for FSC and the SVCC staff in agricultural lending practices to speed up the farm loan approval process, while at the same time ensuring that proper risk management procedures are in place. The training will take place the week of April 21st, when approximately 7 staff from FSC and 3 staff from the Cocoa Company will be trained by a Washington, D.C.-based consultant in agricultural lending practices. Andrew Hadley, General Manager of the Cocoa Company, says the generosity of the Lind Cocoa Foundation reflects their strong belief in the future of sustainable agriculture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In more agriculture news, 110 heads of cattle were exported by the Ministry of Agriculture this week to Grenada. According to Minister of Agriculture Sabota Caesar, this is the second year they have had a mass exportation to countries in the region. He noted that the cost of the cattle approximates a total of $350,000 DC dollars, and that it is the first of 4 shipments for the year.
To have 3 other shipments from St. Vincent and the Grenadines to Grenada. We're expecting that during the course of 2014. I know that many farmers have benefited from this particular purchase, and I would like to announce that there are several other purchasers in Grenada, Carrico, Pitimatni, who have already contacted the Ministry of Agriculture and are working very closely with the vet division to ensure that they can get their particular supplies. It started in 2013 with 1 buyer, but we are constantly being contacted by other persons who are interested in trading between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada.
Caesar says there is also a request for pigs, sheep and goats within the region.
Definitely going to utilize particular portions of the $6 million credit revolving facility to ensure that farmers in livestock can increase their production and productivity so that we can have an even more meaningful trade between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada. Over the last week, I have been in discussions, and the technical persons in the ministry, we have all been in discussion with the Ministry of Agriculture in Grenada. We are seeking their assistance in taking our cocoa condiments and spices unit to another level, and they are also seeking the technical assistance from the Ministry of Agriculture here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as they work to develop their root crops subsector.
The minister also says they have to fully appreciate the importance of the OECS community as being integral in fostering the partnership in trade.
Don't ever want it to appear as if it is a parasitic relationship, but I want to note that we are establishing a very close symbiotic relationship with the government and people of Grenada as it pertains and relates to trade in agricultural crops and commodities.
Opposition leader Adam Eustace is knocking the government for what he says is the silence on the merger between 2 of the world's best-known fruit distributors, Fives and Chiquita. In a media release, Eustace says it is no surprise that the Prime Minister Dr. Raul Gonzalez and the Minister of Agriculture Sabota Caesar have been silent on the issue, saying that their silence is indicative of their failure in agriculture across every sector and their failure of the banana industry. Eustace is of the view that the merger will create excellent opportunities for Vincentians to benefit from, especially banana farmers here. He calls on the government to act now by taking a firm position on the situation. According to the opposition leader, it is a serious development that cannot be ignored by the government. In a series of planned consultations with the farming community, the NDP has been articulating its position on reviving the banana industry, which the party believes is critical to the recovery of this country's economy. According to the opposition leader, those who have authority have the responsibility to put the industry on a stronger footing. In other news, head of the Financial Investigation Unit, the FIU, Mr. Grenville Williams, is this week representing Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves at an international conference in the Cayman Islands, which is geared at addressing the issue of corruption in the region. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves earlier today told the media that the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, along with Bahamas, Prime Minister Perry Christie, were invited to deliver addresses at the forum. Dr. Gonsalves says he was unable to attend the event as he is busy preparing for the supplementary estimates to be laid in the House soon, but had prepared his presentation for Williams to deliver.
I get lots of invitations to do lots of things. I try to accommodate as many of them as I possibly can. And I wrote, well, what I was to say, I wrote an extensive paper, about 15, 18 pages. But he'll deliver it on my behalf. I couldn't afford the time of any of the other ministers to do it on my behalf, because I need them on the ground to do a number of things at this very moment.
A cash donation of 20,000 EC dollars was this morning presented to the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment towards the female medical ward of the Milton Kato Memorial Hospital, compliments the SVG UK Returnees Association. Minister of Health Clayton Borgin says he is grateful for the donation, adding that it is a clear indication that the returning nationals have been lighting candles for the country with their generosity.
Complained about what is wrong. You are aiming to be a part of the solution. And permit me at this juncture to express my deepest thanks and appreciation to you and your organization and all the members, whether they are here or not, for this kind and generous donation. This must indeed serve as an example to others that every small drop causes far-reaching ripples that can help to make our blessed land a better place.
President Nayoka Clouden says the association is delighted to have made such a significant contribution to the development of the health sector.
We realize that a great deal is needed, and we also know that every little helps. We were very fortunate, the group, when we decided to put on this event, to get a lot of good support from many persons and organizations.
Minister of Health Clayton Borgin says the continued development of the national health sector has been a top priority for his government, and its financing requires a lot.
For this reason that we continue to construct lasting bridges of support with friendly governments, numerous organizations, and patriotic individuals who continue to collaborate with us to support the developing health sector. They continue to make their monetary donations or offer medical equipment and supplies, which we must use for the benefit of citizens who access the public health system in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
A $1.3 million road patching project is underway across the country. According to Minister of Transport and Works, Julian Francis, the project has commenced and they are working to patch as many roads as possible with the monies allocated. Francis said the patching will be both on the leeward and windward side of St. Vincent.
On Leeward Highway, in and around Kingston, those of you would have seen them working on Sunday. Below bypass, Otley Hall, Marina Road, those that don't know when last year I went down there. Spring Village, Cross Drain at Hermitage, French's, Tongue Hill, Dorsetshire Hill up to the School Gap, Gomery Road next to the Gladtinans Church, Lava Height Road. Now, people will complain and say, well, you're patching this, what about mine? We cannot do all at the time. Right here is $1.35 million, $1.36 million. New Adelphi, Diamond Village, Diamond Mongunan Road, Mongunan from Anglican Church inwards, South Rivers from Power Station upwards, McCracken, those of you who know McCracken is the area between Barry Hill and South Rivers in the back road, Bellevue, Calder Main Road, Bypass Road from Calder School to Belmont, near the tank, Bible Road from Primary School towards the entrance to the top of the road, the hill, Evesham and Career Main Road, Career, near Bridge and Skills Training Center, Pilgrim Hill, Maroon Hill, Belmont Seventh-day Adventist Church to CWS Tank, Glen near Woodsies, Winard Highway, Indian Bay to Diamond, Landfill Gap, Diamond Landfill to South Union Bridge, You know, there are some potholes appearing on the Windward Highway that we want to patch them out. We don't want it to get any worse.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has commented publicly on the passing of former Chief Project Engineer for the IADC, Jeffrey Kato, whom he referred to as a great friend who will be greatly missed. Prime Minister Gonsalves says Mr. Kato has made extraordinary contribution to the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, including the design of the Rabaka Bridge.
Jeffrey Kato was a first-class professional of the highest quality, top-of-the-line engineer, civil engineer, a nationalist, a regionalist committed to this country, a man of huge value, made an immense contribution as chief engineer, as chief technical officer in planning, and on major projects involving the cross-country road, involving the airport in Kanawan, the airport here, International Airport, which he was the chief engineer working, senior engineer, and was looking forward very much to working on the project at with the new city at E.T. Joshua site in Annesville.
Pastor Nolan Nanton is making the call for men to return to a place in society for which God has ordained them. Nanton was at the time speaking at a press conference earlier today ahead of a seminar geared towards building men in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Pastor Nanton told members of the media that the society is predominantly influenced by females and men need to take their place.
In St. Vincent, we don't always get the status we want, and I hope that one day we can get that. But here, by observation, majority of our homes are without a male figure. And then the children leave from the home and they go to the different schools. All of our daycare and preschools have no male influence. And then they go to the primary school, and we have an over 80% of female influence within the primary school. The psychological world says that everything we learn between the age of 0 to 8, we will either fight with it when we become adults, or we will flow with it.
Nanton added that with many males turning to negative sources of influence, they lack the knowledge on their roles in homes and the society on a whole.
What does that mean for him? He has nothing that he can identify with. And then we ask ourselves why they are gravitating towards the block, or why they are gravitating towards the hills, as so many calls we hear right in our country. Is it because that seemingly being seems to give him a sense of who he is? I did my own poll and I asked another young man, I said, what does it mean to be a man? And everyone I asked said to me, I don't know. I said, okay, what does it mean to be a father? And everyone said, I don't know. And I asked the other person, what does it mean to be a husband? And the same is true. They don't know. Because they have nothing that they can identify with.
Meanwhile, Pastor Nanton says the impact of not having a male figure in the home is usually devastating. He said in many cases, both sexes are negatively affected by the absence of that male figure.
As a result of the lack of male influence, what are we finding? That we have our young ladies, 71% of all pregnant young ladies came from fatherless home. 90% of all who drop out of school came from fatherless home. 80% of rapists with anger problem came from fatherless home. The men of our nation would not be able to hold an intelligent conversation if they're looking for a spouse. Is it a coincidence? Or are we reaping our own failure to impart manhood into our children in this generation?
Meanwhile, a number of males here will be given the opportunity starting tomorrow to build on their lives at a seminar dubbed Righteous Manhood 2014. The seminar will be staged by Project Men 2020 in collaboration with the Association of Evangelical Churches. Coordinator of Project Men 2020, Conroy Huggins, spoke of the two-day event which will feature Jamaican Reverend Courtney Richards as well as local pastors Colin Smith and Nolan Nanton.
On the 20th of March, this Thursday, tomorrow to be exact, we'll be hosting a National Pastors and Leaders Seminar. This will begin at 5 and it runs up until 7 p.m. And on Saturday, the 22nd, we'll also host a national men's conference. This conference will begin at 4 p.m. and it runs up until about 6:30 p.m. Both events will be hosted at the New Testament Church of God at Wilson Hill in Kingstown.
Reigning Soca monarch Gamal Skinny Fabulous Doyle has been made an ambassador for telecommunications company Lime. This was made official at the signing of the contract this morning at Lime's main office in Kingstown. General Manager of Lime, Leslie Jack, in making the announcement, says that he is pleased to have Doyle on board with the Lime family, noting that there will be representation at all levels.
One knows of the exploits of Skinny over the last 5 to 8 years in particular. I think this year he has certainly stepped it up a notch, despite Carnival for St. Vincent not being here as yet. He has certainly represented St. Vincent and the Grenadines very well throughout the Caribbean and internationally. I want to thank him and his team for being a part of the Lime family, and again welcome them a part of it. It's going to be an exciting period.
Noting that the Skinny Fabulous brand has been a growing one, Doyle says he's pleased to be associated with a company of such magnitude.
Some point in time you have to make things official and you have to kind of see the vision of those who see your vision. So I know the big question might be why, how come, why now? The why now of it all is the brand Skinny Fabulous is a growing brand, and I would very much love to associate with other brands that are also growing. It's actually a bold and a proud movement for myself and my team.
Meanwhile, the assistance of the public is being solicited in locating 25-year-old Rebecca Davis of Daphne. The 5'6" tall woman, according to the police, was last seen on Friday, March the 14th, about 4:45 p.m. in Daphne, wearing a 3/4 blue jeans and a bluish top. Davis, who is dark in complexion, has short negroid hair and a tattoo on the left breast and another on her left shoulder. She's said to be mentally unstable and is in need of care. If anyone knows about her whereabouts, you are asked to contact the officer in charge at the CID or the CRO or the MCU at 456-1810 or 457-1211.